So I've got a question for you. Was this the start you expected to see in the real estate market? I don't know about you, but I saw this writing on the wall big time. So I'm gonna share with you right now, this is your February market update for the housing market here in Orange County. So first, if you're not familiar with this kind of format, I'm gonna go through a summary of all the major numbers. If you don't wanna watch the full video, you can get most of the information in the beginning in the summary. And then I'm gonna go into each different category and really explain what we are seeing in the market, talking to hundreds of different people who are looking to buy, sell, invest, rent, finance, all the fun things. So let's dive right in. And if you're not familiar with who I am, my name is Christian Stubbs. I'm a team leader here and owner of Onyx Homes. We're a team of agents that help people buy, sell, invest all over Southern California and specifically in Orange County. So let's dive right into our market update. I've got my notes here. So let's start with new listings. New listings, there were 1,754 new listings that came on the market in January. Now this is a February market update, but the numbers are gonna be from last month. That's how it always works. 1,750 new listings. That sounds like a ton, right? Just as scheduled, we saw a big spike of new listings at the beginning of the year. This really should be no surprise. If you've been following along with these market updates, it's something you've heard me say the last several months. Be ready for January. There's gonna be a lot of new inventory hitting the market, and that's exactly what we saw. We will also continue to see this number increase, probably all the way through March is what is expected in the marketplace. So we'll see the number of new listings continue to increase every month. Now stay with me here. The next topic is going to be active listings. So this is the number of available listings actively on the market. So as the time I pulled this number, there were almost 1,000 less new listings than there were this time last year. And let me be a little bit more specific because 1,000 less, if you're not familiar with how many there normally are, that doesn't mean a whole lot. There are 23% less, almost a quarter fewer listings right now as there were this same exact time last year. So there's still, you've been hearing this for years now, there's still a really low amount of inventory on the market. For those of you that were expecting to see a flood of homes to the market, it doesn't look like that's happening. We are still way below normal inventory levels. Now, the next thing is, this is number 3, is pending sales. Pending sales is gonna tell us how many listings went under contract in the previous month. This number always kind of fluctuates a little bit, but what we see, this is buyers' demand. This number was lower than I would have expected for January. However, not all the numbers have come in. So I'm gonna give you a lot more information down after we go through the summary. But pending sales were certainly up from December, not by very much, at least not until all the information comes through. Now the next one is days on market. This is saying how long does it take for a property to go from sign in the yard, listed in the MLS, into contract, meaning that somebody wrote an offer on it and the seller accepted it. So this is days on market. So this actually increased from 14 days to 17 days, which that is not very long. Listings that are going, this is the median number, are going to contract between 2 and 3 weeks. This is definitely a number that I expect to go down, but you could say that if you were listing a normal home in Orange County, it's expected to go under contract within 2 to 3 weeks, assuming it looks good and is priced right. Now, this is the one that everybody loves to hear about. This is price. Now, remember, price, these are the homes that closed in January. Now, if you know anything about real estate, if you're gonna close in January, that means you went under contract in December. So we talk about this a lot, and if you've been paying attention to the last several market updates, the buyers that took advantage of the December market saw another dip in pricing, not by a ton, but that median price point came in at $1,050,000, which was about $50,000 lower than even just 2 months prior to that. And again, this doesn't show the numbers, but the next market update, I guarantee you we're gonna see a pretty significant spike up in prices. And the reason for that is the market right now is wildly different than it was in December. I'm just curious to see how much prices tick up this month versus last. Last one is interest rates. We have been fluctuating from 6 to 7.5% for so long. We saw rates come down when the Fed announced that they were gonna lower interest rates this year, 2024. And I think a lot of people got a little over optimistic as far as when or how much that was gonna happen. So we've seen rates tick back up over the last several weeks. So again, people that took advantage of the market in December and super early January got a better deal on the property and a little bit better interest rate, but this is expected to come down a little bit as well too. All right, so there is your summary. That is all of the major information you're gonna wanna know about the marketplace. Let's go into a way deeper dive on each different topic. But before I do, I'm gonna put down in the description below, there are 3 different major resources that our clients have found super valuable. So I definitely wanna make sure I include them here as well too. First and foremost is a rent versus own guide. If you are currently renting and you're not sure if you should buy a property now or later, or if you should at all, this guide goes through the entire thing. I spent a ton of time answering all the major 6 questions that we get from anybody who is thinking about buying their first property or frankly buying their first property property in quite some time if they've been renting. That rent versus own guide is huge. The next one is our mortgage calculator. So this is if you're not quite ready to talk to a lender to figure out what your payments are going to be, you can go ahead and just go on to our mortgage calculator and you can plug in all the information that you think is correct. And if you need help with it, you can always ask for questions on there as well too. Now the last one is a home value tracker. So if you are a homeowner and you want a better idea of what your home's value is and tracking it over time, there's a link down there as well too. So there's two things. You'll get an automated home value, so you'll get an estimate range, and then one of our local experts will reach out. If you're already working with an agent, they will reach out to you and they will let you know and put a full market analysis together on your property. Okay, so those are the three resources. All right, new listings. Now this is great news. There's 1,750 some odd new listings coming to the market. That is good news. There's more properties coming. There always will be. But I want to give some color to this, and I'm going to say this for new listings. I'm going to say this for active inventory, active listings, is we are at about half as many new listings to the market in a normal January, meaning that 1,750 is half as many homes as we would normally see come into the market in a January. This is like pre-pandemic years, is we would normally see about 3,000 homes come to the market every January. So we're still seeing half of that. Now, the story most people are talking about is that nobody wants to move because they've got 2% interest rates. And while that may be true for some, it's definitely not true for all. And the reality is nobody really cares about the interest rate. I mean, they care about the interest rate, don't get me wrong. If you have a 2% rate, I know you love it. Interest rate doesn't matter for most people. It is the payment that it comes down to at the end of the day. Even if you had a 0% interest rate and the payment was unaffordable, there's no way you're making that purchase happen. So this is where it is extremely important to just understand that people move because of life. Life happens and people move. And if somebody really wants to move and they can afford it, they can make it happen if they want to. But a lot of the times people move because of life. Maybe it's they need a bigger home, a smaller home, they need no stairs, they need an extra bedroom, or that maybe there was something that happened in the family, right? There's death, there's divorce, there's diamonds, there's all these D's that lead to diplomas is another one. There's all these different things that lead to someone saying, you know what, I think it's time to make a move. I just got a phone call 10 minutes ago that one of my buddies is moving out of state, and it has nothing to do with an interest rate on a property. So my point here is we will continue to see inventory coming to the market. It is just probably gonna be constrained to not being the normal amount we're used to seeing, which is gonna keep your active inventory lower, which is what we're gonna dive into next, is the available inventory. So everybody that had been talking about a market crash, the only way that that would happen is if there was just this huge flood of inventory to the market that would give buyers so many different options and they could offer lower prices, and that would bring prices down. Yes, for sure. Let's talk about this story. So I got my notes here, is let's put things into perspective, is there's currently, right on the market now, at the time that I'm filming this, there's about 2,700 homes on the market in Orange County, 2,700. Now in 2019, before the pandemic, there were 7,400 active listings. That is more than double the amount of listings we have on the market right now. So for a normal market, and frankly, 2019 was a relatively low inventory market. So we are so far below normal levels for inventory. There probably have to be 5,000 more homes come to the market for us to see a dramatic shift in the environment. And when I say that is we've been in a seller's market really for the last 4 years. And for that to really change into a heavy buyer's market, we would have to see an enormous flood of inventory coming to the market. And I frankly just don't see very many things that would point towards that happening. So we are at less than half. I think the number is more like 63% fewer listings currently on the market than a normal marketplace, which is why we've been in this seller market, multiple offers situation. Now, there are still a lot of new listings coming to the market. And again, a lot is relative, but 1,700 new listings to Orange County's market, that is a good thing. They're just not sitting on the market very long, which we'll get to, and you heard with days on market at 17 days. Now, pending sales. So this is one big thing to look at, but regardless of what the numbers say, I can assure you that by what we see in the marketplace right now, and this is one of the biggest benefits with working with a large team like ours, is we wrote 30 some odd offers last month, and we had several listings that all went into contract, all had multiple offers. And every single offer we wrote, exceptions of maybe 2 or 3 of the 30, all had multiple offers on them. One of them actually had 50 offers on them. Place in Irvine that was underpriced, looked great, and had an unbelievable amount of offers on it. So I'm not saying this to scare anybody that's thinking about buying a home. What I'm sharing is the market is definitely competitive, but we are not seeing the things happen like we did in 2021 where people were writing just outrageous offers. So while there might be a lot of offers on a property, that doesn't necessarily mean that it's going way over asking price and buyers are giving away their left arm in order to get under contract. Buyers are being much more reasonable than they were the last couple of years in this market right now. That could change, but what I'm seeing right now is we're gonna see pending sales sales explode in January. We're gonna see prices spike, and we're gonna see inventory have a really hard time keeping up with this demand. But homes that don't look good and don't price right still are sitting. So buyers are unwilling to go to the ugly house that's overpriced and pay full market value for it. So if you're selling a property, that's definitely one to pay attention to. All right, let's switch back to days on market. This is really straightforward, but we're gonna see this go down. We're gonna see this go down probably quite significantly. I mean, it's 17 days, so it's already really short, but there was a ton of properties that were sitting on the market that did little price changes and got into contract. So I think we're gonna see days on market definitely go down this month. There's another thing that I'll mention here as well too, is if you're thinking about buying and you're like, what in the world is going on? What is Christian talking about? I did a webinar for first-time home buyers. And frankly, it's not really for first-time home buyers, it's for anybody thinking about purchasing a property. So if you're not quite ready to talk to an agent yet, hey, that's totally fine. Down in the description, there is gonna be a link to the home buyers webinar. This is gonna be how to become a better buyer. There's 3 major things we talk about. It is how we help our clients take advantage of the market, how we keep you protected through the entire process, and last but not least, how we get you the best deal under whatever the circumstances are. So if you wanna go through that, it's recorded, it's free, you can go through that, you can watch as many times as you want. There's no cost, there's no obligation, there's no anything. It is just me giving a lot of really detailed examples of how we help our clients be successful. And if it makes sense for you and it's helpful, that's awesome. But moving on to price. So the deals that closed in January were deals that went under contract in December. So this was everybody that took advantage of the December market. They got a good deal on the house. They saved about $50,000 because they were willing to make that happen during that holiday season. This is something we see every year and we talk about, we coach our clients to do it. And just the reality is so many people don't want to deal with moving during the holidays that they just choose overall not to. And they start in January, which is what everybody says. So we always see a spike in January. So we will see prices increase next month. But for this market update, they actually were down to $1,050,000 being the median price point here. Now, last but not least, interest rates. I think I said this already, but the reality is I think a lot of people got overexcited as far as the Fed dropping rates and however many times they're gonna do it. And we've seen rates slowly tick up since that announcement, especially now that it looks like they're gonna wait a little bit longer to do that first rate drop. But all in all, if you're looking to make a move this year, the good news is rates are going to be trending downwards unless there's something crazy that happens in the marketplace. So even if you're able to get into a property now, the likelihood of you being able to refinance in the near future at a lower rate is pretty high. So I wouldn't really fall in love with the rate, and you're probably not gonna love the rates in the 6s or 7s anyway, but just understand that being in the position and understanding the cost of refinancing after you've purchased 6 months or a year later, that is a huge opportunity. I know when I bought my property, I didn't think I was ever gonna refinance. I thought I had a great rate at 5%, and I ended up refinancing 4 different times because rates kept going down, and it totally made sense to do it. So that is one thing that we're sharing with a lot of clients as well too. So that is your deep dive. This is your February market update. Again, my name is Christian Stubbs. I hope you found this valuable. Also, if you are not already working with an Onyx agent and you like this type of information, there's a link down below. You can click on that and you can get connected with one of our agents. But anyway, I hope you liked this video. Like and share, subscribe, do all those things, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.